So after you add your categories and your pages, there's a bunch of other settings that you can configure depending on your personal needs. I'm going to go take a look at these under the settings section. So if I click general, this is where you set up your blog title. So I already put that in when I installed. By default, it always puts your tagline as just another WordPress weblog. So I'm going to write a tagline for my site, and you can put the WordPress address or URL, put your email address, membership. Anyone can register with the level that you want them to register at. Obviously, you don't want them to register as an administrator, an editor, author, or contributor, because this would give them access to write things to your site. As a subscriber, they can subscribe or they can comment. Time zone, you want to set it to your local time zone. Your date format, depending on what country you live in, you might want to use different date formats. Time format, the same thing. You can have military time or the time with a small AM and PM or a capital AM and PM, whatever you want. And week starts on, I'm going to say week starts on Sunday, so I'll save my changes. Okay, next I want to go to the writing section, set some of my writing settings. So size of the post box, this is where you would be writing your posts in the web interface, and it's how many lines of text you want to see in here where you would write. The default is 10. That's about right for me, so I'll leave it. If you want to make it smaller or wider, that's up to you. Convert emoticons to graphics on display. I don't like that, so I turn it off. WordPress should correct invalidly nested XHTML automatically. I put that on. Default category. You can change it. I set it to miscellaneous. You can set it to any category you want as your default. Default link category, blog roll. Now, this is really important. Remote publishing. If you're going to use a tool like Windows Live Writer or some other blog publishing tool, instead of writing directly into the WordPress web interface, you're going to want to enable these two things. I strongly recommend it because the WordPress web interface for writing, it's not my favorite thing. Some of the desktop blogging tools are really, really good for Windows, Mac, or Linux, so I would highly recommend checking these out. Your mail server, if you want to post to WordPress from email, you can turn these on. Me personally, I don't like it because if I'm going to log into my webmail to post, I might as well just log into the WordPress interface and have all my options. Now, update services. When you put a new article up, okay, update services. So when you post a new article, it will go out to certain services and let them know that you posted a new article, and that will have them index your article, things like that, so that it gets into search engines and other services. The default one is Ping-O-Matic. Now, what I'm going to do is I have a list that has about 1 million different services I got off the web. I'll put this in a text file on the accompanying article if you want it. So I'll just take that list and paste it in, and this is going to update a ton of services every time I post a new article, which is nice because the more people that know about your blog, the more chance there are that people will get to see it. So once you have all that in, you can save changes. Next is the reading section. So the front page, what do you want it to display? Do you want to display all your latest posts in chronological order? Do you want to have a static page? So you might make a special page that you want to be displayed as your front page. That's really up to you. How many posts should it show at most? The default is 10. Same with syndication. So if you have a feed, same thing there. It's 10. Next is discussion. So this has to do with comments and things and the different options you can allow for commenting. So users must be registered and logged in to comment. You can have that on. You could have that off depending on what you want. There's also lots of plugins that allow third-party registration services like OpenID and Gravatar, things like that. So this is really up to you. Email me whenever anybody posts a comment or a comment is held for moderation. Turn this off or you will be really annoyed. You'll be getting emails all day long. So once you get these set up, you can just save your changes. Next is media. This allows you to set the thumbnail sizes and medium and large image sizes for any images that are in your article. I just leave it at the defaults. I usually control it from the HTML code when I'm writing. The privacy tab lets you set whether you want search engines to index your site or not. I prefer to let them index my site so people can find it. Permalinks. This is pretty important. This is the URL that your new articles will get, and there's a bunch of different ones that WordPress gives you. So you could have them like post number 1, 2, 3, 4. Do not do that. You can have the date in there. Again, that's not good. The month, things like that. You really don't want any of that. If you go to custom structure and the code that you want to paste in, is /%postname%/. So what this is going to do is whatever the post name of your article is, it's going to take that and make it your URL. So it would be your domain name.com / if your post was called how to bake cakes, the article would be domain name.com / how-to-bake-cakes. So that's really the best one that I've found. Category base and tag base, I leave these blank. If you wanted, say, any category to start off, like category / news, category / pictures, whatever, or tag / you could do that. I just usually leave it blank. The miscellaneous link allows you to set where folders get uploaded to, so it would upload them to WP content /uploads. And I always leave the default on, organize my uploads into month and year. This way, if I'm going back and looking for an image or an audio or video file that I uploaded, it makes it a little easier for me to figure out where they are. So we don't need to make any changes there. So those are some of the basic settings that you want to configure. Later on, when we add in plugins and widgets, there'll be some extra options available here in the settings list, and we'll talk about them as we move through this tutorial.